All right. Okay. Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen. Happy to have you all here. It's a superb morning. Ah, there are people like Leader Pressure. I don't know. They are on every meeting, right? Okay. I want to thank you for joining. Okay. I see. Thank you so much, my pastors, for joining. I've just concluded a Zoom with you guys. Thank you so much. I can't wait to break through the pinnacle of pastors in Uganda and bishops. I'm too much excited. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share with you Royalq in the last 1 hour. I really appreciate. Yes, I really appreciate. Thank you so much, different pastors in Uganda, right? When I started Royalq, I never thought that I would do. Hey, so very slowly, I am waiting when I'll be meeting. If you were connected to any president of any country, I now want to raise my level. I want to do Zoom with presidents of different countries now. So if you are connected to any president, please feel free to inbox me. I want to speak to now presidents. If you are here and you're president of any country, feel free. You could connect me to other presidents all over the world. Now I want to increase. I now want to increase. So if you are president here, let me know so that I know which country you are leading. Organizations. Just a minute, guys. All right. Okay. Now let's get into the program for today. Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we basically have a training on BTC. Usually, our top leader comes up with what is happening in the Bitcoin world, and also he comes up with what you need to do to collect more BTCs. So, without delay, allow me invite our one and only Coach Manish, all the way from India, to take us through our today's session, and I'll basically make him the host of the meeting right away, so that he can be able to control everything. Welcome, Coach Manish, and we are blessed to have you this morning.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Leader Julius, and welcome all lovely leaders from around the world. So, are we ready to start, Leader Julius, or should we wait? All right, so I think we should start today's session, and as you all know, today's session is about how to build our wealth and how rich people build build their wealth by acquiring assets, and what is the best possible way to achieve a financial freedom if we start today and we plan our future strategy, how we can acquire wealth, how we can acquire assets to build our wealth, right? So we all want to become wealthy. I hope we all want to become wealthy. And to become wealthy, we should know, first of all, what is that one thing that rich people focus on, that poor people or middle class people don't know about. And that is how much they are, they have a financial knowledge, right? So according to the world famous author, Mr. Robert Kiyosaki, who's the author of a best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, he gave an advice that most people follow, and those who follow, they became rich. He says the wealthy people buy assets, the poor buy liabilities, and the middle class buy liabilities believing they are assets. So that is the difference between the three of them. What is the difference between a rich and a poor and a middle class mentality or mindset? Wealthy people know what they want to buy, and they only buy assets because they know that assets are the one that will create them a fortune, that can help them acquire wealth and create a financial freedom, a life of financial freedom, right? So wealthy people focus on buying assets, while the poor people, they buy liabilities only. They don't know the difference between an asset and a liability. That is why they focus, they whenever they have some money, they earn some money, they go and spend them and buy some liabilities. While there are also another category of people, that are the middle class people. And the middle class people, they believe that they are buying assets, but they don't know the difference between assets and, so this is the lesson for today. And let me take you how we can how we can uh, how we can plan our future in such a way that we take action today, so that to move in the right direction, right? So let us move forward. I will skip a few things. And how do you grow your wealth? That is the most important topic. How do you grow your wealth? In order to grow our wealth, we all know we have to invest our money in some money making or money multiplying assets. Because unless we don't know how to multiply money, then we cannot grow our wealth. Whenever you earn an income and you save a part of it, you have to learn how, where to invest, and which are the different options that we can invest. So according to common psychology, common people's mindset, they they have different options. They know they have different options, but but one should understand which is the best uh, performing asset in the world, and which asset they should invest their money, because it's your money, it's your choice. Where do you want to invest it? And whichever you want, whichever asset do you. So some people, most of the people, they focus on, they deposit their money inside their banks because they feel it is, and they deposit in their banks with the thinking that this can help them grow their money. But we only get 5 to 7% per annum, and if we deposit our money inside our banks, that is not able to beat the inflation. Even the inflation rate is much more than that. Some people invest in gold or silver. They think that these are the precious metal, and over the period of time they can increase in value. Yes, they can, but that there has been a very little increase in the value of gold or silver, right? Some people are educated. They know there are some smart options to invest, like mutual funds or share market or stocks or some other markets, but they don't have much knowledge, much experience. So they are only able to grow their wealth by 12 to 15% per annum. not more than that, if you invest in these options. So this was the highest till now. Some people they saved a lot of money and they invested it into real assets also. Real assets, property, land, or you buy some house, you buy some commercial land or commercial property. These are real estates. They are good in growing your wealth, but they take a lot of time. You have to wait for a longer period of time, and your money is also blocked for a long period of time, and the investment required is too much, right? You cannot invest with a small amount if you want to invest in real estate. Now then came another options that was called crypto. Cryptocurrency, as we all know, has given a very wonderful growth to our asset, to our money. And if an average person invests his money into some good performing cryptocurrencies and just buy and hold and wait for a longer period of time, they can have an annual return or up to 100%, as you can see in the graph. So this is the average return that a person can have annually, that is close to 100%, and which is much above than much above than all these different performing assets. So we saw a clear understanding that cryptocurrency is performing much higher than all other performing. So we know which are the different currencies, but it all started from the year 2009, when the first cryptocurrency was launched, that was Bitcoin. Bitcoin was launched in 2009, and let us let us uh, let us now let us now learn what is the timeline of Bitcoin. What is the journey of Bitcoin since the year it started in the year 2009? So this is the price chart of Bitcoin from the year it started, from the day it started till today. So it started in 2009 here, and we are here today in 2023. So as you can see, it has been a journey upward. Many years, many months, we see that the price drops, then again goes up, then again drops, because it is not a smooth journey. But if you see a clear pattern, this has been a uptrend. It has moving up and never ever fallen so down. We can call it a downtrend, right? If you look at in a 14 years of journey, it is showing that it is going up. But there is a lot of more knowledge in this chart. This chart is Bitcoin stock to flow chart. It is a world famous chart that shows the journey of Bitcoin from the year it started in 2009 till today. So there is a lot of information, a lot of knowledge in this chart. But one thing that you need to understand is the significance of these dotted lines that you can see. These are the dotted lines that indicate a very, very important event in the journey of Bitcoin, and that is called Bitcoin halving. As you can see, after every 4 years, the difference between this and this every 4 years is going to a wonderful event that is called Bitcoin halving. What is Bitcoin halving? That is a separate topic, but we must understand that what is the effect of this halving and how the market price is influenced before and after this halving. So it started in the year 9. Slowly it gained momentum because some people started taking interest and they started mining. Some people started buying Bitcoin, and they hoped that it the price will go up, and it went up till a highest point that was above $10 per Bitcoin. As you can see here, this is the $10 Bitcoin price. And we saw a all-time high of $10 per Bitcoin in the first era. Then after it touched the highest point, the price started to go down and it reached till here. But then one important event happened. That was the first Bitcoin halving in the year 2012. And as this halving happened, the price started to go up again. And it rise, it rise so up that it created a new all-time high. And this was close to one per Bitcoin. From the $10 per Bitcoin to it went to $1,000 per Bitcoin, little above $1,000. So this was a new all-time high that was created. And again, as usual, the price started to go down before the next halving was coming, and it came in the year 2016 after 4 years. So after this halving, the second halving happened again as usual, as happened in the previous halving. Again, the price started to go up, and it created a new all-time high, which was around $1,000 per Bitcoin, $10,000 per Bitcoin. So people were so amazed; they were taking this seriously now, and they started investing. More and more people started to investing into Bitcoin because they saw that what is the power of this Bitcoin halving. That after this halving happened, the Bitcoin creates a new all-time high, and every time the highest point of Bitcoin is much higher than the previous highs, right? So people started taking interest. Even a lot of small shop owners, retailers, they started to accept Bitcoin as a form of payment in their shops, and because they wanted to accumulate as much Bitcoin as they can, because they knew now that the next halving is going to happen in another 4 years, and it happened in the year 2020. I hope we are all aware of this halving, the previous halving, the last halving that we saw in 2020. If some of you were into cryptocurrency at that time, we saw another bullish market, a bull run after this halving happened in the year 2020, and Bitcoin touched new all-time high that was around 69,000 per Bitcoin, a new all-time high. And that was the last all-time high that we saw. So if we connect all these all-time highs together in a line, we can see that it is going up. The price is going up. And we can also observe that what is the power of this Bitcoin halving that happens after every 4 years. We can see a clear pattern. There are some few things that can we can examine and study, and we can calculate what is going to happen in the future if we learn these few facts that has been happening before and after every halving. So in the first era, before the halving happened, we saw that Bitcoin touched a new all-time high. But as the Bitcoin halving approached nearer, the price went down. And again, after the halving, the price started to rise and created a new all-time high. So this is happening before and after every halving. What is happening before the halving? Maybe 1 year or 2 years before, the price is always going down and we see a bear market. And after the halving, what happens? We see a bull market after the halving. And every time a bull run starts, the price of Bitcoin breaks all the previous records. It forms a new all-time high. So this happened in the first era. This happened in the second era, and this also happened in the third era. that we saw that Bitcoin prices fell down before the halving and again went up after the halving. And every time it creates a new all-time high. That is, the last all-time high was around 69,000. So if this pattern continues and someone has this little knowledge about this chart, he can clearly analyze this chart and predict what is going to happen after the next halving, which is in the year 2024. When is the next halving happening? In the year 2024. And we are here just 1 year before the next halving. So not a lot of time is remaining, and we can here in this time, because we already are into a bear market since the last 1 year, right? We already saw that bear market from the year 2022, and slowly the market is going up, preparing for the next halving, which is going to happen in next year, right? So we all know that every time before the halving, the price is going down like 3 times before. This is already been happening in the from the last, right? And every time after the next halving, after the halving, the price goes up and touches a new all-time high, which was 69,000 in the after the previous halving, right? So when it continues, and if this continues, which is most likely to happen, we will see a new all-time high in after the next halving in the year 2024. Maybe sometime after the halving, we can see a new all-time high, a new all-time high, and it is most likely to be much above the previous all-time high. We can see a clear pattern in this chart. So if the last all-time high was 69,000, even a small child can predict now, if we have this knowledge, that the next all-time high will be much above 69,000 per Bitcoin. So for those people who started their journey, maybe when the Bitcoin price was around 40,000, some people started when the Bitcoin price was around 30,000, or some people may start today when the price is around 27,000, or maybe some people started when it touched around 15 to 16,000. No matter when you start, but if you start today and you just buy and hold and keep on accumulating Bitcoin as much as you can for another 1 year, we all can become super wealthy when the Bitcoin price touches a new all-time high, which is expected to be this at this point. And if you connect this to the price chart in the left side, it says that it can go above $1 million per Bitcoin, above $1 million per Bitcoin. And it is going to happen because most senior experts in the world, they are big investors and big believers in Bitcoin. They are saying that after the next halving, the Bitcoin price will touch a new all-time high of more than around $1 million. Some people also say that it can touch above $2.5 million. And some people also say that it can go above $5 million per Bitcoin. So no matter who's right, but this is going to happen. And we know now that the price of Bitcoin can most likely go above 69,000, and it may touch $1 million to $5 million per Bitcoin in coming 1, 2, or 3 years, right? It is going to happen. So no matter which prediction is correct, but the Bitcoin will go above 70,000, or maybe $1 million per Bitcoin. and it is going to, we will see this in happening in the coming 1 or 2 years. So what is the best way to take the maximum advantage, maximum benefit from this knowledge? Person is smart and he learns this thing that we just shared with you, that one person who has this knowledge and who can see the future in front of his eyes, what is going to happen in 1 or 2 years. The best way to become super wealthy in the coming 2 years or 1 year is to, the best thing to do is to accumulate more and more of Bitcoin as much as you can, because this is going to make you super wealthy in the coming 1 or 2 years. So the more Bitcoin you have, the more wealthy you can become. Every Bitcoin, every part of Bitcoin, every share of Bitcoin that you have now is like a digital gold. It is like a digital gold, and we can clearly see that it can go above $1 million per Bitcoin. So the best thing you should do, and the mightiest thing we can do, is to accumulate more and more of Bitcoin as much as you can, because we are into a golden period right now, because we can buy Bitcoin at a price, at a very low price of 27,000 per Bitcoin. If you were not lucky that you knew this thing in the first era, when the Bitcoin was around $10 per Bitcoin, if you didn't had this knowledge in the second era, if you miss this chance in the third era, you have again this opportunity in the fourth era. That is a corporate era. And when we enter into the next era, that is going to be called a government era, you cannot imagine how high this Bitcoin price can go. And we enter into the last era, the next era, that is government era. And why we call it government era? Because in this era, most of the governments of most countries will start to adopt Bitcoin, and they are going to use it as a legal tender. And more companies, more and more corporates have already started accepting and adapting to this change. And many countries are already, they have already started accepting Bitcoin as a mode of payment. We know that the first country was El Salvador, which has already declared that they have a legal currency, legal tender in Bitcoin. That Bitcoin they accept as a legal tender. And many more countries are now taking interest into promoting Bitcoin. So very soon, when we enter into the next era, all the people will start to take interest. All the big corporates are already started take interest, and all the big governments too, they will start to take interest in Bitcoin. And why they are taking interest? Because they know that the fiat currency, the local currency that you are using is losing its value. It is gradually losing its value, and every year due to inflation, it has lost its value. And this currency, that is cryptocurrency, is called inflation proof. That it is not affected by inflation. It is not even controlled by any government or banks. That is why we have this best performing asset that we need to take seriously. Now, if we want to change our future, you have to start accumulating and acquiring more and more of Bitcoin, right? So, how to accumulate that, need to learn today. How we can, how to accumulate Bitcoin in the best possible manner. Even if someone has a little capital, is he not capable of buying one or two or many Bitcoins? How you can accumulate Bitcoin with a small capital? And which is the best way to accumulate? The first way is to buy and hold. Every time you have some money, just go and buy some Bitcoin and keep it with you. Don't sell it, just hold it, right? Because this is the easiest way you can collect more and more of Bitcoin when the price is down, and you can wait for the next halving after the next year, and you can wait, and you don't have to sell it until it reaches the new all-time high. Second way you can also do is by accepting it as a payment. So if you are a businessman and you are accepting your payment, you are selling something, your goods or services, and you want your customers to pay in dollars or in local currency. Instead of that, what you can do, you can ask your customers that you can pay in form of Bitcoin. If you have Bitcoin, you can pay in form of Bitcoin, because you don't want to receive your payment in a form of a local currency which is losing its value every year. Instead, what you can do, you can use Bitcoin as a form of payment. So this way you can also use it as a mode of payment inside in your business also. But these are some less effective ways that may not multiply your asset. They just help you to acquire asset, but they don't help you to compound your asset. The best way to accumulate and compound your asset, your BTC, and the best way, that is called trading. The best way to acquire, accumulate, and compound your Bitcoin is by trading in Bitcoin. That is the best way you can compound it with a small amount also. And if you keep compounding it till the next halving, till 1 year or maybe 2 year, you can multiply your asset to a exponential growth. So how trading is the best way to accumulate your Bitcoin and to compound your Bitcoin, that we are going to learn now. And we can do it with a wonderful tool that we have with us, that is Royalq. So let us go to Royalq now. And I hope you have understood this chart clearly, and you have a clear view of the future. You have a clear vision of the future. If you have understood till now, just type yes in the chat option, and I will take the next part of today's lesson, that is how you can use Royalq to accumulate more and more of Bitcoin. If you have learned till now, just type yes. And if you are not sure, you can type no also, or you want to ask something, you can ask in the chat option, right? So now we are going to the next part of today's training, that is how we can multiply our Bitcoin, how we can accumulate more and more of BTC, and how we can compound it even with a little capital, right? So let us move to the next chapter. And I can see most of you are clear till now. And if you have some questions, let us wait for towards the end of the session. Then I will give you all a chance to ask your questions also, right? So let us share my screen and let us move to this wonderful application, that is Royalq. Right? How Royalq helps you to accumulate more and more of BTC without even having much knowledge, without even having much capital also, with a very beautiful strategy that is inbuilt in this Royalq platform. Royalq provides us a wonderful strategy. Royalq provides you a wonderful strategy Let me check my audio. All right. So let us go back to Royalq. Sorry for the technical issue. And let me share my screen and take you to Royalq, right? So Royalq gives wonderful strategy in the default as a default strategy, which you can use to trade in Bitcoin and compound it every time you make a successful trade. So in this Royalq, we have three different markets. As you can see, most of you already are users of Royalq, and you see that we have three different markets Royalq already. And what is the difference and between all these three markets, and what is the purpose of these three markets? The purpose is same in all three, that is to accumulate. Royalq helps you to accumulate whichever market are you trading in. So every market has each of these three markets has a base currency. As you can see in USDT market, we have a base currency of USDT. You can see here, we have a base currency of USDT. If we go to BTC market, we also have a base currency of BTC, right? You can see the base currency is BTC. And if we go to Ethereum market, the base currency changes to Ethereum, right? So the purpose is same. Whichever market you are using for trading, the purpose is same. Like if you trade in USDT market, what is our purpose? Our purpose is to accumulate USDT. What we want to accumulate? We want to accumulate USDT. So if we are trading in this coin, we are accumulating USDT, right? Same, if we are trading in BTC market, we are accumulating BTC. That is the base currency. Because we are trading BTC with some other coin, and every time it sells the other coin and gives us profit, it helps us to accumulate more and more of BTC instead of USDT. And if we are trading in Ethereum, same way, it is helping us to accumulate more and more of Ethereum, right? So to understand in a simpler way, what you can do, suppose we are trading on this coin. We are trading on ADA oblique BTC, right? Suppose, for example, we are trading on this coin and we have a base currency of BTC, right? We have a base currency of BTC. So unless you have some amount of BTC, you cannot start this trade. Just like you cannot start a trade in USDT market if you don't have any USDT with you, right? So to start this trade, okay, so congratulations all of you. BTC has touched a new all-time, a new high, a recent new high of 28,000. So for those people who were just thinking to start BTC and acquiring some BTC at the 27,000 rate, they are a little late now because BTC has touched 28,000, but it is not so late because you can still make a good profit if you start today, right? So that was a little news, and I was explaining how Royalq can help you to accumulate BTC. That you need to understand clearly. Suppose we are trading on ADA, and our base currency is BTC. So the first thing you need to do is to buy some BTC, because you cannot trade on any coin in BTC market unless you have some amount of BTC with you. And how much BTC do you require? That we will discuss in our next part when we go and plan our strategy, right? So if you have some amount of BTC, what you can do, you can open this trade And every time the price of ADA goes down, what the robot will do, it will go and buy some amount of ADA by giving your BTC, right? It will trade ADA with BTC. Every time it drops, it will go and buy more and more of ADA, and your BTC quantity will be going down, your in going minus, and ADA quantity will be going in plus, right? This is simple. But what happens after this? After this, when the price of ADA, it start to goes up and you are into a profit. When you are into profit, Royalq goes and sells all your ADA coins that it has accumulated till now, and sells all this and give you back your BTC. It will go and sell and give you your BTC back. But it will not give you the same amount of the same quantity of BTC as you used for the purchasing, because it will add some profit into it. It will sell in profit. So the profit that robot makes with this trade, that is not in USDT, that is in form of BTC. And that is the most important thing that you need to understand. You are not earning a profit in USDT, you are not earning a profit in any other local currency. You are earning a profit out of this trade in form of BTC. That is a very good thing. That is a very good thing, because you are adding more and more of BTC inside your wallet. Suppose you start today with $1,000 worth of BTC, and if you complete this trade, you have more than $1,000 in your account, but that will be in form of BTC, right? So this is the best way that you can trade in any of these coins. We have around 6 coins, and you can select any of these coins. It doesn't matter which coin is performing good today or which was performing today good before. It doesn't matter, because we are not trading for a 1 day or 2 day or 1 week or 1 month. We are trading this for a longer period of time. We will trade in cycle mode. What we will do, we will trade in cycle mode for at least 1 year. 1 year. Till we reach the next halving. And we all know after the next halving, Bitcoin is going to touch a new all-time high, which can be above $1 million per Bitcoin. So the more BTC that you have, you are accumulating the best performing asset, which is going to touch $1 million price after the next halving, right? So this will be your purpose of trading. This will be your goal, and your goal should be clear, right? You should have a clear why. You should have a clear goal inside in your mind, because many times you will see that the price, you are into floating loss. Every time the price goes down, the coin you are trading, the price is going down, you may see a lot of floating loss. But once the bull run starts, and we know BTC is the parent coin, of all the different coins we have. So when BTC is going up, other coins which we call altcoin, altcoin, they will also go up. So no matter which coin you are trading, the price of each coin will go up once BTC starts a bull run. So when the price of BTC goes up, all the other coins prices will go up. So don't worry if you see a little floating loss before this halving. It is going to convert into big floating profit. And when the robot sells, you will acquire more and more of BTC, right? So that should be your clear goal of trading in BTC market. And we know BTC has a very wonderful dominance in the market also, right? So let us take an example of any of these coins. Suppose I go and trade on LTC oblique BTC. So here we have, and to start this trade, you all know you have to click on create. Then you have to select the martingale strategy bot, because we can edit this strategy and design it according to our own knowledge. Then what you need to do, you go to create, and the bottom next that you see, click here and you come to this page, right? And when you want to start this trade, you want to go to dodging, right? Sorry, we want to go to trade setting. So go to trade setting, and this is where you see your trading parameters that you can design. So Royalq gives you a wonderful strategy. If you don't know how to trade, how to make this strategy, which is the best strategy to use, and you are alone, you don't have any senior to guide you also, you are a newcomer, so don't need to worry, because Royalq provides you the best possible strategy that is available. It gives you the best strategy as a default strategy. If you go to margin configuration, this is the best strategy that you can use. So let us start from this page, and then we will go to the next page. So here Royalq gives you the first buy-in amount, that is the minimum amount of BTC that you can use for the first buy. So you don't need to worry how much BTC should I put here in the first buy-in amount. You can use this minimum buy, that is 0.0002. So keep this in mind, because I'm going to ask you again, what is the first buy-in amount of BTC, right? So this is a minimum. If you have bigger capital, you can increase it, but don't go below this, right? This is a minimum. And if you go and calculate how much USDT worth, USDT, it is in value, this is only around 3 to 4 USDT, 3 to 4 USDT that you need to start this trade, right? So that is much less than what you require in the USDT market, right? Next thing you can do, you see we have 7 margin calls here, and that is the minimum you can use. I'm not saying that you cannot use less than this, but if we want to plan a long-term trade in the cycle mode for the coming 1 or 2 years, this should be the minimum requirement that you need to open the margin calls. You don't want to go into big floating loss. So at least 7 margin calls should be your focus, right? Should be your focus. You can have more, but you should not go below this. Only go below 7 when you have little capital. You cannot afford margin calls. But if you have, this is the minimum margin call must open, right? Next thing you see here is the whole position take profit, the callback. These are good. You don't need to change anything here. The buy-in callback is also good, and the distributed take profit, allocation, sub position take profit, everything is good here. You don't need to change anything and keep it in cycle mode. Just go and click on this margin configuration. Here we are going to plan our strategy, right? So when you come in this page, that is a second page in margin configuration, you see that we have set these figures according to our capital and according to the market drop that we want to cover. So when you first come here, in the left side of the page, you will see some bigger figures here. Maybe you see 3.5 here, or 4.1 or 5.2 here, or something like this in the default setting. So that Royalq is giving you a bigger market drop coverage. And if you add up all these, that was given to you in the default setting, it will add up to around 47% of the market drop. So you can use this also to cover at least 47%, or you can do one more thing, you can reduce it to at least 30% market call drop. So it is up to you and according to your capital. how much capital you have and how much risk you want to cover. So you should not go below 30% of the market call drop. You can go and design your strategy in between 30% to 50%. Your margin call drop should be from covering a drop of 30% to 50%, not more or not less than that. And it depends on your capital. So what I have used in this page, I have covered around 30% of the market call drop. So I have reduced the margin call drops to a smaller percentage. And in the first four margin call, you can cover like this 1 plus 1, then 2 plus 2. So that is around 6% margin call drop. And after the fourth one, you can increase a little and add up to 30%, right? It is up to you. How much market cover do you want to use, right? And the most important thing that you must design and understand here is how much capital you want to use and how you are allocating your capital in these 7 margin calls, right? So as we all know, maybe you have attended previous classes from me, or we have learned about 3 different strategies that depend on your capital. We have 3 ways how we can cover the multiple buy-in ratio according to our capital. So the first strategy, that is the best one, that is called double up. You can write it down. The best one. This is the best, right? But if you have something less than this required capital, you can go for the second best one, which is called Fibonacci. Fibonacci is a little less effective, but still it is good. You can call it good. And the third best, that is called a plus one. This is also good, but not as good as the previous one. So you can call this one a better. This is better, but this is the best one. Okay. So let us learn one by one how we can design and how we can use these strategies to allocate our capital inside our multiple buy-in ratio. So let us start with the best one, that is called double up strategy, right? So double up, as we all know, we are doubling time we are buying in the next call. We are buying double of what we bought before. So if you bought first buy of 1 time, so the first margin call will be 2 times, right? And when we go to the second margin call, the robot will buy 4 times. So this is the default strategy that Royalq gives you. You don't need to change anything here. If you don't want to change it, you can use as it is. So what we are doing, we are buying double of what we bought before, right? So double of 2 is 4, double of 4 is 8, and double of 8 is 16, and so on, right? So if you want to calculate how much capital is required, what you need to do, just add up all these times: 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16 plus 32 plus what is in the next call, right? So if you see here, it goes up to 128 times, right? So if you want to calculate how much capital is required, you need to add up all these figures, right? So what is 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16 plus 32 plus 64 and plus 128? So this we are going to calculate, and in our calculator, let us go to our calculator now, and let us go to our calculator now, and this is the where we will calculate how much capital is required. So we remember first call was 2 times, then we will double up every time we buy, right? So 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16 plus 32 We need to add up all the 7 calls. Double of 32 is 64 and double of 64 is 128. So these are the 7 margin calls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? You see these 7 margin calls and the total is this 254. But this is not the actual total. This is not the actual total because don't forget to add 1 in this total. Why 1? Because that was your first buy. So actually we are buying 255 times. This is not what we call capital. This is the times the robot will buy into what was our first buy in amount. So if anybody can tell me now, if you remember, if you have been listening to me, what was the first buy in amount that I just shared? What was the first buy in amount? Let us go to the chat option and let me read your chat. What was the first buy in amount? Where is the chat? Here. So what was the first buy in amount? Right. So I can see a lot of people were attentive and they are giving me right answers. The first buy in amount is 0.0002. Absolutely perfect. You are lovely. You are wonderful, right? So what we need to multiply this into the first buy. And what is first buy? Our first buy is 0.0002. So actually we need a capital in form of BTC. This is not in USDT. This is in BTC. So we need a quantity of 0.051 BTC. And how much USDT we require? Just go and multiply it with the current price. What is the current price? We just saw that Bitcoin touched 28,000 per Bitcoin. That is the current price. Suppose today you start in the current price. How much BTC, how much USDT do you require to purchase this amount of BTC, right? We want to know how much USDT is required to purchase this amount of USDT to give a wonderful strategy, double up. So what you need to do, just multiply it with 28, that is current price. I'm just taking round figure. It can be different according to the current price, right? So this much capital we require. What is this? This is the amount of USDT you need, 1,428 USDT that you need to start this double up strategy. When you go to the market with this amount of USDT, 1,428 USDT, you will receive this amount of BTC. This is the quantity of BTC and this is the current price. I hope this is clear. This is very simple. If you have 1,428 USDT in your spot wallet, go and buy from the market price. This is the market price and you will get this amount of BTC. And if you have 0.051 BTC with you, you can use the double up strategy, and that is the best strategy to use. That is the best strategy to use. And why we call it best? Because this is the perfect strategy that helps Royalq to bring your average price closer to the. This is the best strategy that brings the average price closer to the current price. These two prices should be very near, right? Unless they are near, robot will not go and sell the asset for you and give you your profit. And your profit, you know, it will be in form of BTC only, right? So our purpose should be to give it the best strategy that helps robot to come out of the floating loss and quickly sell the coin in profit and give us more and more of BTC, right? So to allow this to happen, you need to give it the best strategy, and this is the best strategy. But some of you may feel that this requires a lot of capital. Some of you don't have 1,400 USDT, or some may say that I have less than $1,000. If you have less than $1,000, what you can do? You can use the second best strategy. Which is the second best strategy? I told you it is the best is you use the double up. But if you don't have capital, you can compromise a little and go to the second strategy. That is the not best. It is not best, but we can call it better. Better than all other strategies, but little less than the best one, right? And that is called Fibonacci. What is Fibonacci? For Fibonacci, what you can do, go to the previous page, and first thing you need to do is to increase your margin call from 7 to 8. So I will just increase it to 8 because we can buy more when we have a less effective strategy. If we want to don't use the best strategy, we can increase our margin calls. So if you go to margin configuration again, these are our 8 margin calls now, right? Now we have 8 margin. So in the left side, you can cover, or you can change a little in the last few margin calls, and the total should be around 30%, right? You can cover up to 30%. So that will be sufficient. But now you can change this strategy from double up. This is what what we see on the screen is double up strategy. But now we are going to change it to Fibonacci. The difference you will see now. The first call will be the same as before. First call will be 2 times, but the second call will be now 3 times. And the next call will be 5 times. How we got a 3 and 5? We are buying a total of what we, in the previous 2 calls, what we bought. We are buying a total of what we bought in the previous 2 calls. So if you add 2 plus 3, you will get a 5 here, right? Same way, you add up 3 plus 5 and put a 8 here. Then add up 5 plus 8 and put a 13 here, and so on. So this is very simple, but it requires less capital that you will see in the calculator, right? So let us go back to calculator. Now we are designing the second best strategy, that is Fibonacci, and we will add up the 8 margin calls here, right? So 8 margin calls are 2 plus 3. Then the total of 2 plus 3 is 5. You can put a 5. Then the total of 3 plus 5, that is 8. What is 5 plus 8? That is 13. What is 8 plus 13? 8 plus 13 is 21. And what is 13 plus 21? 13 plus 21, that is 34. And what is 21 plus 34? That is 55. So the total comes to 144. We have now designed the 8 margin calls. You can count it: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Right? We have 8 margin calls here. And the total is 140. But don't forget now to add 1 in the last, because that was the first buy. And what was the first buy? Just multiply it with the first buy. That was 0.0002. Right? So this is the amount of BTC that you require. Previously, it was 0.051. We need a less quantity of BTC, that is 0.0284, almost half of what we bought before. So if you want to calculate the capital required for this, go and multiply it with the current price, 28,000, and you need around $800 for this. You don't need $1,400. You just need around $800. So if you have $800, you can go and start this Fibonacci. That is the second best strategy. If you have more than $1,000, you should use double up. At least for 1,400 or 1,500 USDT, you should use double up. But if you have less than $1,000, you should use this strategy with $800 requirement. And if someone has even less than $800 or $700, what he can do, he can use the third best one strategy, the third best that I told you, sorry. So let us go back and here I opened something else, I think. Return. Okay. So this was our point, right? So the third best one that I told you is called plus one. Plus one. So as the name says, every time you are adding up one to the previous margin call and you are using a plus one strategy. So to start that, first thing you need to do, you should come back here and change the margin calls to at least 10 margin calls, because we want to buy at least 10 times, right? We will buy 10 times here. So go back to margin configuration. Now we have 10 margin calls. You can adjust your margin call drop so that it can fit to 30%, or now maybe you can cover up to 35 or 40% because you have more margin calls. And sorry, so margin call drop, right? So these are our 10 margin calls. And now what we'll do, we will start with 2 again, but what we will do, we will add 1 plus 1. This is called plus 1 strategy. Plus 1. So we will add 1 and put a 3 here, then add 1 and put a 4 here, add 1 and put a 5 here. Same way in the all 10 margin calls. So I hope this is clear. This is very simple. Let us go to our calculator now and let us calculate how much capital do we require and how many times the buy. So start with 2 and keep on adding 1 every time. Keep on increasing 1. 2 plus 3 plus 5. Sorry, 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10, then 11. Because we have margin calls. Can we count here? These are the 10 margin calls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the last one is 10. Right? So we are buying 65 times, but don't forget, again, add 1. So actually the robot will buy 66 times. This is the times of what? Of our first buy. It will go and check what is the first buy, and we all know first buy is 0.0002. So it will buy 66 times of your first buy, and actually it will require 0.0132 quantity of BTC. This is the quantity of BTC, and if we multiply it with the current price of BTC, that is 28,000, you require $370, right? How much capital that you require in USDT? You require 370, around 370 USDT. If you go and buy today at this price, you will get this amount of BTC. I hope this is clear. So this is the amount of BTC that you will open the trade with. So if you have now 3 options, right? We have now 3 options. The third one, as we just shared, was a plus 1 strategy. Plus 1. So that requires around $370. But if you have around $800, you can go and use the second best one, the better one, Fibonacci. This is good. If you have just $370, but if you have $800, go for the better one. This is better with $800. But if you have the around 400 USDT with you, you should go with this one. That is the best one. And the best one is double up strategy. So these are the 3 options, and it all depends on your capital. How much capital you have. These 3 strategies are good, but the difference is how much time robot will take to come out of the floating loss and give you profit. The difference is the effectiveness of this strategy. So don't do such mistakes. Some people some people, they become greedy and they want to trade on more coins. Suppose you have $1,500 of capital. Which strategy should you use? Suppose someone says, I have $1,500 of capital. Which strategy should you use? One person says, I should use this double up strategy. Another person says, let me open two coins and trade on Fibonacci strategy. That is also good because this is not very weak strategy. But if a person becomes greedy and he opens 3 or 4 different coins using the +1 strategy, he uses 3 to 4 coins to trade with his $1,500 capital. He may be trading in more coins. Maybe he is trading in more coins, but the effectiveness of the strategy becomes weak. The effectiveness is becoming weak. What he will see now, he will see a bigger floating loss. He will see a bigger floating loss in all these 3-4 coins. So instead of waiting for the market to come out of floating loss, what you can do, you can always focus on increasing the effectiveness of your strategy. If you have $700, go and trade on one coin with Fibonacci strategy. Don't go and trade on 2 coins with $700 using +1, a weaker strategy. Because if you use the stronger strategy, you will come out of floating loss very quickly, and you will see that you can have more successful trades and you can earn a good profit from this strategy. You will see that Robert will buy quickly and sell more quickly than if you trade in a weaker strategy. So if you have $1,500, your focus should be to improve your strategy, not increase your coins. Your focus should not be to increase the coin. Your focus should be to improve your strategy. So if you have $1,500, my advice will be, you can use either of these two, double up or Fibonacci. Both are very good strategies. Both are efficient. It is up to you. You want to trade on one coin or 2 coins, but try to use a better strategy, right? So don't go for the weaker one and trade on more coins. This is my advice. Second thing, if someone says, I don't even have $300 of capital, how can I trade in BTC market and how can I open a strategy? So if someone says, I have just $100, or someone says, I have just $150 of capital, can I trade? Anyone can do this. Suppose a person says, I have just 100 USDT. What should I do? I don't have 300 or 500 or 1,400. I just want to start with 100. It is okay. Just go and calculate how many margin calls can you have and how much BTC can you have with this amount of USDT. So first thing you need to do is to divide it. Now we are going in the reverse action, right? We are going in the reverse direction from the end to the start, opposite direction, right? So we will go in reverse engineering and divide this with the current price. Previously we multiplied, now we are going to divide this. So if you divide $100 with 28,000, that is the current price, you will get a figure that is showing you that this is the amount of BTC that you will get. This is the amount of BTC that you can have with your $100, right? So suppose this is a longer figure, I will just reduce it to 0.035 or 36 maybe, right? 0036. So it will go 0036. This is the amount of BTC that you get, right? So now what you can do, this is the quantity of BTC that you have. And now what you can do, divide it with the first buy-in amount. So you will get how many times you will buy. So if you divide it with the first buy-in amount, that was 0.0002, it will give you how many times can you buy. The margin called times. So this is the time because first buy, and this is the total quantity of BTC that you have. So you can go and buy 18 times if you are using this first buy-in amount. 18 times, right? So if you know that you can buy 18 times, you must first reduce 1 from this. Reduce 1 from this. Why? Because that will be the first buy-in amount. The first buy you will buy, right? So actually you are opening 17 times of margin calls. The total times that Robert will buy, it will be 17 times. So keep this in mind while designing your strategy, that you cannot buy more than 17 times. After you have started the trade, you cannot buy more than 17 times. So which strategy can you use? Which strategy can you use? Let us start with a double up strategy, and the total should be not more than 17 times. So if you start with the first call, that is 2 times, then you add 4, then you add 8, then you add what? 16. But we know it should not be more than 17 times. So this is more than 17 times. So delete the last one and add the remaining time that you have, that is 3 times. So these can be your 4 margin calls. If you want to use double up strategy, you are actually doubling up first in the first 3 calls. What you are doing? You are doubling up in the first 3 calls, and the remaining 3 times you are using for the 4th call. So if the market is not dropping much in the first 3 calls, you will have a less floating loss because you are using the best strategy, that is double up. Okay. So maybe the Robert will buy and sell in the first 3 margin calls and give you best result. If it goes below that, you can use the 4th margin call with 3 times because you don't have much, you don't have more, right? So this is your double up strategy. Another thing you can do, you can use the Fibonacci strategy. What is Fibonacci? If you remember, 2 plus 3 plus 5, keep your eye here. Keep your eye here. Not be more than 17, right? It should not be more than 17. 2 plus 3 plus 5, then it was 18, 8. And you see it is already crossed 17. It is more than 17. So just reduce 1 from the last margin call. So I will change the last one to 7. So this gives me 4 margin calls with the Fibonacci strategy, and the total is 17. That is fit. So you should always learn how to design your strategy, because some people, they don't calculate. What some people do, they don't calculate how many times it will buy. They just put 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that and keep on adding maybe 20 margin calls or 40 margin calls. They don't care to calculate how much capital is required. You must always keep in mind what you have and how many times that you can trade. So if you know that you cannot trade more than 17 times, so you should be always calculating this before starting the trade. So you can use this one also, Fibonacci. It is also very good. Or you can do another thing, but because we are just using first 4 margin calls in these two strategies. So if you are using 4 calls or 5 calls, you cannot cover more margin call. You cannot cover much of a market drop because you are trading in for only 4 margin calls. Another thing you can do, you can use the +1 strategy, right? So what you can do, 2 plus 3 plus 4, because we don't have much capital, so we cannot go and use the best strategy. So 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6. But that will be more than 17, right? So you must reduce what is left here. What is left here? It is 3 times. So if you are using +1 strategy, you can use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 margin calls. But the best way to trade, I will advise you, is use 4 margin calls. Just use 4 margin calls and give it the best strategy, 2 plus 4 plus 8, and the remaining you can add in the last one. Or you can use the Fibonacci strategy, that is 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7. So this should be your choices. You can trade on 4 margin calls. And if you want to trade on 4 margin calls, you should use one shot trade. One shot. Don't trade on cycle because you don't want to go into bigger floating loss. Just trade on one shot, open 4 margin calls with your capital and calculate before you start the trade. So this should be your strategies, and I gave you all the options. Bitcoin is already going to touch 28,500. That is a very good news. So when you have designed this strategy in the margin configuration according to your capital, what you should do, you should save this and come back to the main page. Now you can start here. And before you start, one more thing you should do, go to this button, strategy mode, and change it to sub-bin mode. This should be your strategy mode, the middle one, sub-bin mode. If you are trading on more than 5 calls, because if you are trading on just 4 calls, it doesn't matter. Whichever strategy mode you use, in the first 4 margin calls, this whole warehouse will be applied. But if you are trading on 7 margin calls to 10 margin calls, you should use this sub-bin mode. Why not this one? Why not use this one? Because this will give you your profit inside your revenue details, and it will not use your profit to compound inside your strategy. It will not use your trading profit to compound in your strategy. And if you want to use your profit not to withdraw, because we must understand our purpose first. Our purpose is not to earn a daily profit and withdraw it inside your bank. Our purpose is different. We are trading for a long-term strategy. We are trading for at least 1 year, and we don't want to withdraw our profit. We want to keep it inside the trade, because we know that we are earning, not our profit is in BTC, not in USDT. So if you want to withdraw, what you have to do? You have to go and convert your BTC into USDT. Then you are able to sell the USDT or BTC. Then you are able to convert into your local currency. But we don't want to sell BTC. We just want to accumulate more and more, because if you go and convert your BTC to USDT, your purpose is wrong then, right? I hope you understand. So keep it in this mode, sub-bin mode, to allow the robot to use your trading profit, the BTC that you have acquired in form of profit, to be used inside the trade that you are doing. And when you use the trading profit also with your capital, and it will be used to lower your average price. If you use this, it will help the robot to lower your floating loss and reduce your average price. So in this way, you can reduce your average price and bring it closer and closer to the current price. So this will help you in the long term. So I hope All the lessons are clear and you know now what to do. You now know what to do and how to use this strategy to make your profits in a better way, right? So this comes to the end of the today's training, and I hope all the things are clear now. You have all the understanding about the strategy options and which one to choose according to your capital. And again, I will repeat, always focus on improving your strategy, not increasing your trades, right? So you can trade on less coins, but trade in better one, trade in a better way. So that should be your focus, because your purpose is very great. You have a great purpose, a big goal, and you want to accumulate more and more of BTC till the next halving comes, and you can become super wealthy, right? So if you have something to ask before I close the session, you have a few minutes. You can ask any of your doubts. You can clear and ask in the chat option. I will try to answer each and every one. Someone is saying, what about buying the real Bitcoin, not the pairs? So that is one of the three options that I gave. If you understand, let me explain it to you. Let me share again. Till then, you can ask in the chat option. Let me explain. What was your question? Let us go to Zoom again. Let me, and let me read your chats also. So someone was asking this one, right? This one. So he wants to know that what about buying the real Bitcoin, not the pairs? So I told you, you have three different options, not the trading strategy. To accumulate, if your purpose is to accumulate BTC accumulation, one thing you can do, and you can buy every time you have some more amount, you have some USDT, go and buy and hold. Buy and hold. So that is the first option that you are asking, that you go and buy more and more of BTC. So whatever you have, how much USDT that you have, how much money that you have, that will help you to acquire BTC. That will not help you to multiply it or compound it. Our purpose is not only to go and buy BTC with our money. Our purpose is to buy BTC, then multiply it also. You are using plus strategy. What you are using, you are adding up. What I am trying to explain is to multiply it. Which one is bigger? Can you reply? Which one is bigger? If you add up or if you multiply, which one is bigger? Which one is bigger? If you add 10 plus 2, sorry, 10 plus 10, that is 20. If you add 10, if you go buy $10 of Bitcoin, then buy again $10 of Bitcoin, you will have $20 of Bitcoin. Okay. But if you go and buy $10 of Bitcoin and multiply it 10 times, now you don't have 20, you have 100. So multiplication is always bigger than addition. Multiplication is always bigger than adding up, right? So I hope you have some understanding what I'm trying to say. If you just go and buy every time you have some USDT, you are just adding up. But if you are using that BTC that you have bought into trading, and you use it to trade, you are not doing addition, you are doing multiplication. You are multiplying it. because you are earning a profit. When you go and trade, you earn a trading profit, and that trading profit will be added to your initial amount, and that will be in form of BTC only. I hope this is clear. So trading is always better to multiply your wealth than just go and buy on BTC, right? Someone is saying to meet the Bitcoin halving, if you have 1500 for the double up strategy, how much money can you make available for fuel fees for that 1 year? That you can calculate, because Royalq will charge 20% on every trade it closes, and on every profit you are going to pay 20%, right? So that you have to calculate how much is your capital, how much profit it is going to make. Accordingly, you can, suppose you have $1,500 and you want to go and trade on BTC, you can use at least 20% of that, or extra 20% for paying your fuel fees, right? But if you don't want to pay your fuel fees from your pocket, there is another way. Go and share this opportunity with all your friends and add them all in your team. And when they trade also like you are doing, you will receive a share in their fuel fees in the form of team quantification, and that will help you to pay your own fuel fees. So that is the best option. Okay, someone is asking, can I use the same strategy when trading in USDT? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. These are the three strategies. In whichever market you want to trade, either you can use USDT market also, or you can go and trade in Ethereum market also. The strategies remain the same. It all depends on your capital. How do we improve our strategy? If we started with 100 USDT, later want to change it to 500, you can upgrade your strategy, because Royalq is a semi-automatic robot. You are allowed to change your strategy anytime you want, and as many times as you want. So if you start with a +1, a weaker strategy, then if you have acquired some more BTC in your wallet, you can go and change your strategy anytime. You can add up more margin calls and change all the figures anytime that you want, and change your strategy. That should be your focus, to improve your strategy. You can start with a weaker one, then go to better one. How do you calculate the 30% drop? That is very simple. If you have 10 margin calls, or if you have 7 margin calls, you can add up all the total. Like if I show you again, let me go back. Bitcoin is jumping. Okay, that is good. Bitcoin is pumping. So let us go back, and someone wants to know how to cover the 30% market call drop. So if you have 7 margin calls, or maybe you have 10 margin calls, it depends on how many times the robot is buying. Suppose you have 10 margin calls, you can add up all these. The left side, and it will give you around 30%. So what I try to do, I try to divide this into 2 parts. First, 4 margin calls, as we all know, is in the whole warehouse mode, and after the 4th margin calls, it enters into the sub-bin mode, right? We all know this. If you don't know, you can attend our other trainings also. So we should always focus that it buys very quickly in the first 4 margin calls. Then we can give a bigger percentage in the 5th or the later margin calls. Because why we want to do it? Because we know that in the first 4 margin calls, it will be in whole warehouse mode, and it will not sell each margin call separately. It will calculate the average price. Maybe average price is here or here, and it will only sell all these 4 together in the whole warehouse mode, not separately, once the current price reaches above the average price, right? So what we want to do, we want to give less percentage in the first 4 margin calls. Either you can use 1 1 2 2, or maybe you can use 1 2 3 4, or you can use 1 each in the first 4 margin calls. It is up to you. And suppose you have covered like this, I have covered. So that is total 2 plus 2 4 plus 2 6. The total is 6%. And if I want to cover 30%, so what is remaining? Remaining is 24%. So rest 24% I need to distribute in the last 3 margin calls. So how I have distributed? I have distributed 6% in the 5th call, then again 6%, then 12%. This way you can use. Or another way you can use, suppose you are trading on 8 margin calls, what you can do? Let us make it 8 and go back to margin configuration. Now we have 8 margin calls. So same way you can do and adjust your strategy accordingly. What you can do, you can put 1 here. Another way I will show you, you can just increase 1 every time, just like you use in the +1 strategy. So just add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, 6th, like this, right? So you have now 8 margin calls. You have now 8 margin calls. And if you add up 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8, these are the 8 margin calls, and you are giving a percentage in the same number as you are using. So what you can do, you can add up all these. So what is the total? Let us go to calculator and calculate what is the total. First 1%, then 2%, then 3%, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, then 8. So these are our 8 margin calls. So we have already covered 36%. Suppose you are using 7 margin calls. So you can use like this: 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7. So it will be total of 28. So what you can do, increase the last one by 2. So you can use this one. In the last call, you can add 9%. So the total becomes 30%. This you should also use an increasing order, just like you are using increasing order in the right side of the page in the multiple buy. Same way you can use it in increasing order, or maybe you can use it first 4 margin calls. You can buy little, then 1, first 4 margin calls, then increase more and more of your drop in the rest of the 3 margin calls that you have. So you can use double up like this. So that is 4, 5, 6, 7 plus the 8 margin calls, that will be 16. So this is the margin call drop you can use: 30 to 34%, or maybe 28%, or 30 to 40%. It is up to you. 30% should be average. If you have 10 margin calls, you can use this one plus 1. First 4 will be 1. Then after that, just increase 1. And how many of this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, and 2 more, 6, then 7. So these are the 10 margin calls, and I have just used 1% drop in the first 4. I have used 1% drop in the first 4, that is 4%. And then in the sub-bin mode, I have covered the remaining 25%. The total is 30. So this is how you can use. It should be increasing also, and add more percentage drop in the last 2 or 3 margin calls. That should be your focus. In the first 4 margin calls, you should use little percentage drop. That will help you to come out of the whole warehouse mode and Once you are into sub-bin mode, that will give you more profit, because it will not sell all the calls in together. It will sell one individual call separately. So I hope this is clear. Let me read if someone has another question. Okay. If according to my capital by Fibonacci, I can only accumulate 4 margin calls, is it okay to under cycle? Yes, you can use cycle, but it is advisable that if you are not covering at least 30% market drop, or if you are trading on less than 7 calls, then you can put your trade on one shot. That will be very easier. So once the robot sells all the 4 margin calls, you have a choice to open another coin in BTC market. You have the choice. You can change the coin also, right? So suppose you start with a one coin in BTC market and it is not performing very good, you can go and change your coin also. Or if you put in a cycle mode, then it will maybe it will not perform very good, because maybe you go into bigger floating loss and you are unable, right? So always try to use more than 7 margin calls. But if you have less capital and if you want to open just 4 margin calls, it is better you put it in one shot, so that it will not buy again the same price that it bought before. You can wait and the market will drop, and then you can buy again, right? So someone is asking, the more I generate the BTC, can I keep changing my strategy, since now the BTC I have been bigger than yesterday? Yes, you can change anytime, but your purpose should be to acquire more and more of BTC. You can change your strategy anytime. Does the robot charges fuel in form of BTC if trading BTC, or it is still in USDT? It will charge in BTC only, but it will show in USDT. It will show, no, sorry, let me correct it will charge in USDT only. It will not charge in BTC, but it will show that your profit will be in BTC. Why I'm saying this? Because if you know from where it is deducting your fuel fees, where it is deducting, from where it is charging your fuel fees. Is it taking your fuel fees from your Binance, or is it taking your fuel fees from the Royalq? Can someone answer this question which I am asking? It will help this person to understand better. From where it charges your fuel fees? Where it charges your fuel fees? Is it from Binance or your exchange, or is it from your Royalq? Which one is correct? From where it is charging your fuel fees? Yes. This person replied that Royalq. So from where in Royalq it will charge? It will take your fuel fees from the asset wallet. And asset wallet of Royalq is only allowing you to add USDT. You cannot add BTC or any other coin there. So you have a certain amount of USDT that you keep inside your Royalq wallet, that is your asset wallet, and from there it is charging the fuel fees. So it cannot deduct in any other currency other than USDT only. Okay, so never be confused like this. It will only charge in USDT, because it doesn't has Royalq doesn't has permission to take any withdraw from your exchanger, right? From your Binance or Huobi, whichever exchange you are using. It can only take from your Royalq asset, and the only currency that you can deposit in Royalq asset is USDT. So it cannot change the currency. The more I generate BTC, can I keep? Yes, I answered. Okay, this one I answered. Can I use the same strategy? Well, yes, you can. Subbin mode Royal robot charges fuel fees. No, subbin mode is another, it has another advantage. It will not charge any fuel fees from you because you are not taking your profit. You are asking it to invest it inside the trade again. So because you are not receiving your profit in your revenue account and you are not withdrawing it, it will not charge any fuel fees also. So you will save fuel fees in this way, and you will save your BTC also and use it to compound inside your trade only, right? So these are the two best advantages if you use subbin mode. It will reduce your average price also. It will lower the average price and make it closer to the current price. And also it will save you some fuel fees also. You will not pay any fuel fees now, right? So I hope all the questions have been answered, and there are no more questions. Santoshji, if you have something, you can write in the chat option. Mr. Santosh, you have raised your hand. I don't know if you have some question. If you have any question, you can ask in the chat, or Mr. Santosh, do you have any question you want to ask? Because you have raised your hand. You can write in the chat. Okay. Santosh is saying regarding subbin mode, I don't understand what you want to ask. Let me unmute you. And because we are out of time already, so let us take a last question.
Thank you. Now I'm writing. Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, regarding submit mode, actually Royalq reducing the floating loss and average price, but the
Yes.
Royalq do not have the anything. Just it is accounting. So how it is reducing the average and floating price? That I'm not able to understand.
Sir, if you are using this strategy or either of these three strategies that I just explained, what you are doing, you are buying more and more of with more capital, and every time you buy, every time the market drops, you are buying more, right? So the
Right.
same way, if you are using your profit also in sub-bin mode and using your profit to trade in the margin calls, so the profit will be only used in the next margin calls, because
But
it
my
cannot.
profits are in Binance. It is not in Royalq. All the
Yes, and your
profits
capital is
are in
also in Binance. Your
right.
capital is also in Binance. So same way,
So
it will use your capital, and same way you will use your profit also from your Binance and add it up inside your trade. This will help you to reduce the average price. It will reduce your floating loss also.
yeah, that one I've seen.
Yes.
It said no amount, nothing, no USDT in this one. So this is just managing the accounting information, right?
Royalq is just giving you an accounting, and all the trades are happening in Binance only.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank
I
you.
hope you have understood.
Yeah, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I think we have finished all the questions, and I hope you have learned a lot of new things today, especially the people who are attending today for the first time. And for all the people who have already been attending before, this has been a revision and to give you a better understanding. And let us focus on acquiring the best performing asset, that is BTC. And you can use these strategies to acquire and accumulate any of your favorite coins. Maybe you don't love BTC much, maybe you love Ethereum, you love BNB, maybe you love some other coin. You can use these strategies to accumulate more and more of that coin. Your purpose should be the same and the strategies remain the same, but you should also focus that if you are acquiring if you are trading in USDT market only, you are just accumulating more and more of USDT, because every time it will sell, it will give you more USDT than before. But the price of USDT will remain the same because it is just a stable coin. So it will not help you to accumulate wealth. Just you are you are accumulating more USDT and you are trading with bigger capital. So that is a separate thing. But if you trade in BTC or Ethereum market, whichever you want to choose, you are not only acquiring more and more of that base currency, but once you have more of Ethereum or more of BTC, and once this halving happens in the next 1 year, the price of Bitcoin will shoot up to 1 million or more than $1 million per Bitcoin in the coming 1 or 2 years. So that will make you super wealthy, super rich, and maybe you achieve financial freedom in the coming 1 or 2 years. So always focus on acquiring more and more of valuable assets in BTC or Ethereum market, whichever you want to trade. So with this thought, let us close today's session, and I hope you have learned quite few things, and let us meet again in the next session. Till then, have a nice day and happy trading.